Going to start recording here. Welcome, everybody. Thanks so much for showing up to season one, episode two of the AI Empowered Title Agent. I'm really excited to have alongside me AVP Regional Training Specialist Casey Vogel. Many of you have probably met her in your office, especially in the PA area, Delaware. But Casey is an incredible asset to be able to walk through things in a deep, meaningful way that a lot of people can't. And so I'm excited to be talking about some of the operations tools today with Casey. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Go Birds. Stop with the Go Birds stuff, guys. Go Cowboys. I will be a Cowboys fan even if it's as depressing as it is right now. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can talk about something other than the Cowboys not having the best season ever. Like I said, welcome to season one, episode two. We're really excited. The feedback we got from episode one has been absolutely awesome. We're really excited that you guys are getting something out of it. And the common theme of what I keep hearing is that it's been nice to focus on some title specific things. I mean, there's a lot out there. We've talked about AI is kind of a trigger word for all of us right now. You hear it literally everywhere you go. And we're really excited to be bringing you things that are very specific to our business rather than kind of broad general things. So we're going to continue that trend today. Um, so again, welcome. I wanted to, as you guys know, I'm a total nerd, so I wanted to start with a few statistics Casey and I put together. The first one is this. You may or may not realize this, but your teams are already using AI. You just may not know it yet. So if you haven't seen Qualia's State of the AI report, check it out. You could Google Qualia State of AI and it'll pop right up. We have some links to some other tools that we'll share a little bit later. Um, but one of the things that I thought was really interesting here is they kind of broke it out a little bit, right? So basically, over 90% of people in our industry are already using AI. Some of them are using chatbots, some image generation. If Jagger's on this call, I see you coming up with some cool stuff lately. Voice assistants, we're pretty much all using it. I can't say either one of these words right now. Otherwise, some device in my home is going to wake up, which still kind of creeps me out because obviously they're always listening. But let's hope that we're all coming from a good place. Predictive text, Gmail, Grammarly. I'm going to talk about Grammarly just a teeny bit later. If you haven't used it, super, super cool tool. LinkedIn, for example. If you ever hop on LinkedIn, you go to reply to somebody's message and it already kind of tunes out, a sentence or two for you. That's exactly what that is. So the point of this stat to me is just to let us know, like we're all using it already. We just may not know it. You ever watch Netflix, Hulu, Apple TV? The suggested shows, those are AI-driven algorithms that are basically figuring out what you're into, what you typically like to watch, and serving up content that it thinks that you will find engaging. So we're surrounded by it all the time. We just may not know it. And 77% of companies are either using or exploring the use of AI in their business. So if you're not looking at it, we've talked about my 86% of Fortune 500 CEOs stat. I'm tired of saying it, but it's so true, right? So if 9 out of 10 of the CEOs of major companies across the world think that AI is absolutely foundational to the future of their business, we really need to be thinking that way as well. If I can go to the next slide, there you go.
All right. So this is also from the Qualia State of AI report. So it has top ranked benefits of AI among title and escrow professionals. So this graph is basically showing the ways that AI will assist with title and escrow professionals, not replace them, which is something that we're really going to be focusing on today. It has a couple different categories here. One of the top being the automation of repetitive tasks. We waste a lot of our time, doing things that are very, mundane. They're very tedious. So some of these tools that we're going to be showing you today, we hope that you can implement and kind of use those to, really increase your efficiency and drive that, technology forefront forward. And then the next stat is 83% of companies say that AI is top priority in their business plans for 2024. So obviously we're in the latter part of 2024, but we wanted to make sure that we got you this operational tools segment in November as you guys are starting to budget and plan for your your business for 2025. Keeping these types of tools in mind, seeing how you can implement AI, seeing if any of these, fit your needs and different ways that you can implement it in the operational space, in addition to all the other, sales, marketing, all of those type of segments as well.
Awesome. Yeah, so we talked about it before, breaking down what really matters. So we've gone through sales a little bit so far. Today we're going to go through operations and customer experience, but there's a lot of things that absolutely could be integral use cases for AI in our industry, and we're hoping to cover all those. If you haven't seen this yet, we put together the AI-empowered title agent guide. We're going to show you in just a few minutes how you can access this, and it is a living document that is constantly changing, bobbing and weaving. And we got to a point recently where we're like, I think we're going to need another row and another column. And so I think there's going to be multiple pages of this at some point, but we're hoping that it's a handy dandy guide to AI in our space that will be really useful to you guys. We talked about this before, but here's a little bit about what to expect from the AI Empowered Title Agent series. This is part 2 of our webinar series. We're going to have some how-to guides on how to actually use and implement these different tools, some testimonials, specific use cases from your colleagues in our industry, and then a go-to exclusive, some exclusive resources for FNF agents at AIempoweredTitleAgent.com. And the password for that website, we left it password protected, will be at the end of this presentation. The website is officially live, and we're really excited to share that with you starting today. So we're going to start in the operations space with Alana AI. For those of you that are familiar with Alana AI, you probably know Keith or Hoyt. Hoyt is a great friend of mine. We've been kind of on the speaker circuit for the last few years, so it's been really fun to watch Alana iterate into what it is today. But we wanted to walk you through
What
it.
if, as a title...
Sorry, we wanted to walk you through it for those of you that aren't 100% familiar with it. We're going to start with a quick video from them, and then I'm going to walk through some of the features.
What if, as a title company, you could provide for your clients answers to time-sensitive filing questions without ever having to pick up the phone, closing cost estimates, calculated automatically and delivered in seconds, or even the power to gather critical closing information securely from a smartphone? And what if you could provide all of this to any client, anywhere, 24/7? Now you can. Meet Alana, a closing assistant for title companies who's smart, fast, accurate, and always online. Capable of handling hundreds, even thousands of requests, Alana uses text or chat to provide title-related answers for clients, your online systems to auto-calculate closing cost estimates, and secure online forms to gather client information. And that's just scratching the surface of Alana's abilities. As an assistant who will deliver for you, more time to focus on complex tasks, better customer care, and a true competitive edge. Contact us today and discover just how much more you can accomplish with Alana.
So you'll notice that one of the things they said in that video is kind of a tenet that they absolutely live by. The goal there has never been to remove employees and cut staff. The goal is to create a absolutely systematized automation that is able to free people up to do maybe more intensive tasks or more valuable things that are customer facing, whatever it is. So it's not to replace anybody, it's to make the process a lot easier. So what is it? You just learned a little bit about it. But picture having staff working for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And this staff member doesn't take days off. This staff member doesn't get sick, doesn't require benefits. So when you look at it as a 24/7 assistant, I think it's really important. We'll talk a little bit later about a tool that makes me think of this. But I remember, typically speaking, as a title company or real estate attorney, we were open from 8 to 5. Our clients are seeking answers when they're not working. They're working at the same time as our hours. So being able to be available and accessible after hours will be a common theme in some of the tools that we have today. And the reason being is we're used to that in every other purchasing and buying experience that we have, right? You could buy a car online right now and track at midnight when that car is going to be delivered to your house. You're buying things on Amazon and Temu and other places, and you're in constant communication with the seller of those products. So we're getting used to that type of customer experience. So being able to access your file, what's going on, where things are, and ask questions 24 hours, 7 days a week, I think is going to become a common theme in our industry, something we need to figure out how to fulfill that desire from our clients and customers. The messaging platform is really powerful, as you saw, and I'm going to show you a couple screen grabs in a second. It is text-based. The number one most responsive type of communication in 2024 is text messaging. So not everybody wants to download a portal. Not everybody wants to log into some site. To be able to just text back and forth in a conversational way is really important. The file tracking piece, and we'll show you a map in just a second, is really kind of neat. And they figured out really what those hot button points of the transactions are. Of course, those pre and post-closing smart forms. There were times in the past as a title agent that it would take 4 or 5 or 6 calls just to get an email address and verify a social for a buyer or a seller. So having smart forms available that are accessible through text message that take that information either pre or post closing and automatically upload it into your title production software is pretty powerful. And then we're going to cover a little bit about how it works and how much it costs. One of the first questions we often get are what their integration partners are. Hoyt will always say they are open to other integrations and always working on continuing to robustly create those opportunities. As of now, SoftPro, RamQuest, and Resware are the production softwares that they integrate with pretty seamlessly. So the smart forms that I mentioned are pretty cool because it's a very simple way to gather the most important pertinent information that we need from our clients and customers via secure text link. Like I said, there were times that our escrow assistants or escrow officers were having to chase down people, especially in a place like El Paso, where there's a lot of people with similar names, with Hispanic surnames. You know, if your name was Jose Martinez, there was a chance that there was going to be another few hundred people with lots of different things that we needed to clear. So we needed to get that social security number. And sometimes it required 5, 10 phone calls. That is not a great customer experience for them. And that's a lot of time on us. So these smart forms that are via text, that are simple and easy to complete, are really something that are able to streamline the process. The cool thing about these smart forms as well is every title company is different. If you have a separate intake form that is proprietary to your company that's gathering different information, maybe for a CRM later, maybe to create a better customer experience during the transaction, all of these things are absolutely customizable. So you're not put into a bucket or a box. You're able to tailor it to what your specific needs are as a company. So I mentioned the life of a title file. This is what Alana has come up with at this point. There comes, I'm not going to go through this entire process, but these are most typically the times where there will be a type of communication going back and forth automatically for the most part, again, customizable from the title company during some part of the transaction. I always think it's interesting. I look at NAR's buyer-seller survey. They do it every 2 years. There's a lot of things that are pertinent to the title industry. So if you haven't looked at it, the last one came out last year in 2023. For the last 30 years since they've been doing that, the #1 complaint of home buyers and sellers in the United States was a lack of communication, right? They say we didn't know what was going on. So just by simply making sure there's a touch point along the way, letting people know what's going on, even if there's nothing to update them on, I think is really important. And to be able to automate that and have it come directly out of actions that are triggered within your production software during the life of the file, I think is a really cool way to take that problem and find a solution, but also take some of those tasks off your staff so that they're not having to do that manually all the time. So this is a little bit of an example of what those conversations tend to look like. It can be a very conversational thing. And you'll notice this CB logo up here. One of the neat things about Alana AI that I find really cool, and people have gotten super creative with it, is that they can absolutely customize what that avatar looks like. They can rebrand it and white label it. So it doesn't have to be Alana. It could be Sam and Casey's title company with an emoji of Sam and Casey. There's a lot of people that have come up with like plush dolls to go along with this character that helps people through the process. It's really cool. But you'll see that it's very conversational. So for example, this realtor said, hey, do you have the earnest money from the buyer for file? They automatically knew the file. When was it received? Yep, we've got it. 9/25/23 at 2:30, right? Hey, this is what I need to bring to closing. How do I pay for this? It absolutely breaks it down, what they're able to do, how they're able to submit payment. And then you'll see these preemptive strikes, right? Preemptive text messages. Hey, good news, we received the wire, right? So there's lots of things that are both automated, but it's also very conversational. And Alana has trained so quickly and so robustly that pretty much any question in any format that's asked of it, it will find a way to answer that question. It's constantly learning, constantly growing. And so people can literally have a conversational exchange with the platform. And there's also ways to set it to where you can answer the question if it's a little bit more specifically straight through your software. It's pretty cool. But for the most part, it's come up with some really incredible ways to answer that. So of course, as Casey said, and kudos to Casey, she was like, you know what, we need to do the operations one now, get this done in November so that when people are setting budgets for 2025, we can kind of inform them of what some of these costs would be if it's something that you want to implement moving into 2025. So I talked to Hoyt just the other day, and this is what he gave me. He said, it's approximately $790, $799 a month investment. The goal, however, I think that he stated is really important here. The goal of this is to save 30 minutes to an hour on each individual file. So for me, as a former title agent in Texas and New Mexico, $800 to save 30 minutes to an hour on each and every file. Multiply that by 100, 200. Some of you have even more than that. That's a pretty big savings on time, effort, and energy. And then Hoyt told us to mention, you know what? Tell them, if you reach out to them, that we had this conversation today, and they will absolutely give a steep discount on not only the implementation, but also the startup fees. So shout out to Hoyt and Keith. Mention that you were on this webinar today, the AI Empowered Title Agent, and they will absolutely give you guys a quick discount. If you want to learn more about Alana AI, get a quick demo for yourself. If you have any questions that you want to dive a little bit deeper, you can scan this QR code to contact them. And again, reach out to Hoyt or Keith, or you can email them at hello@alana.ai. Great guy, great company, based right here in the great state of Texas, which I think is really cool. But it's just one of these solutions that I've seen really evolve over the last few years into something that's really, really powerful. I know a bunch of agents around the country that are using it and find it very useful, and they're winning back the #1 most valuable asset that they have, which is time. So that is Alana AI. Thanks for checking that one out. And now we're going to move on to Stacks.
All right. So the next operational tool that I'm going to be talking to you about is Stacks. It is an AI-powered platform powered by Avon's Tech Labs. So this company has been around for a while, and they are currently a vetted F&F solution partner. Some of you may have taken advantage of their post-closing products like policy typing, but the portion of their technology that we're going to focus on, like I mentioned, is the AI-powered Stacks portion. So this is a great operations tool. Got a little click happy there, Sam.
I did.
It's a great operations tool that we're really excited to bring you to our agents to improve their current workflows and processes. Next, we're going to show you a quick video on Stacks before we dive into it a little bit more.
The highly regulated mortgage industry comes with steep documentation and compliance requirements. And post-closing is an often overlooked part of the fulfillment process. But not anymore. Introducing Stacks, an AI-powered post-closing platform that reduces manual effort at this critical stage. Improving quality, reducing cycle times, limiting human error, and driving down operating costs. Stacks was built with a mission to simplify. Here's how it works. Accessing the signed closing package through multiple secure methods. Stacks' smart character recognition engine automatically scans, classifies, and indexes loan documents for an instant review. Any documents that aren't classified automatically can be picked up manually, and any that receive a low confidence level can be checked and confirmed. Stacks extracts so you don't have to. It captures all the relevant data fields, reducing the time spent on post-closing. You can apply a final audit if needed with an expert post-closing associate giving final sign-off. Thanks to our seamless integration, Stacks works across more than 2,000 e-recording ready counties. And our mission to simplify a process now delivers a Stacks API framework that's easy, fast, and ready to implement, with advanced reporting and analytics showing file status on the go. Stacks is designed for mortgage post-closing and built with agility in mind, so you can integrate and customize exactly what you need. And because we're aligned to your success, you only pay for what you use. Book your Stacks demo today, and let's make post-closing digital.
All right, so what is it? I like to think of Stacks as an AI-powered quality control solution. So it aims to improve processes like the post-closing intake, contract extraction, automated order entry, and CD Express. The company was actually developed and run by title professionals that understand the pain points of the pre- and post-closing processes. So while the video that we just showed does have more of a focus on the mortgage and lending side, the product can be really useful in the title space as well. The technology is able to read complex real estate documents and learns how to extract the data necessary to perform the tasks on behalf of the title agent. So one of their main focuses is on improving the post-closing process, which it mentioned in the video. So this type of technology would be ideal for a large agency who does a lot of mail away closings or out of office closings, but really it can work for any type of agent. So the post-closing technology generates a tracking label that tracks the package from the closing to the arrival at the agent's office. These labels are created by the software, and through its AI learning processes, it aims to help the title agents prioritize the package that needs to be processed first by type and disbursement date. So for example, if you have a purchase versus a refinance that has a 3-day right of rescission, or if there is a loan that has funding documents that are required before you can fund the loan, it would prioritize those type of packages first. So if you get 10 closing packages back in one day, your intake person is easily able to identify which to work on first with just a glance at the tracking label. So once the package is received, the audit process begins. The title agent is able to scan the closing package that was received from the table, and Stacks automatically starts the manual process of stacking, quality control, separating recordables, and signature validation as a streamlined process. So it'll verify and ensure that all the documents are signed, dated, notarized, and in an acceptable order to proceed with the post-closing process. The system can categorize the documents into as many smaller segments as dictated and push all of those audited documents back into your title production software. So what I mean by this is that most agents have a preferred way that their closing package appears in their system. And this technology can mimic that. So if you like your CDs and your affidavits or your seller documents and loan documents to be scanned and named specifically in your software, it can do that. The process is done in about 5 minutes from scanning the file and doesn't require any intervention from the title agent staff. The software will also automatically flag any errors like missing signatures, dates, or information for the agent to address before pushing the documents back into the software. They are currently integrated with SoftPro and Resware, but they are working on other platforms and are willing to be, customizable to other platforms as well. And as I previously mentioned, that the technology does have other capabilities with the ability to automate the order entry process. And they also have a CD Express capability in which the AI reads the lender instructions and extracts the data back into your title production software to reduce the back and forth of the final CD collaboration between the title agent and the lender, which I thought was amazing. As a former title agent, I would have loved something like that. They also have pre and post closing document review, which can reduce or eliminate errors in the documents before they're even signed, such as mismatched names, sale price or loan amount variations, or property address errors. Go to the next slide here. All right, so this slide shows some of their key benefits with using their intelligent document processing, of which I think that the quality control and the reduced cycle times are two that I think are really beneficial as a title agent. We want to make sure that we're returning all of the documents back to the lender in an acceptable fashion without wasting a ton of man hours doing these tasks. So this tool could be a real game changer for those who struggle with the post-closing process or are considering trying to streamline this process, or even eliminate costs by automating it. It'll also help to reduce the amount of post-closing corrections and emails from the lender on the back end regarding missed items or things that were wrong in the closing package. Next slide. All right, so as the video mentioned as well, their pricing is done on a per file basis, and it's all customizable based on needs and capabilities. So they do offer a pay-as-you-go model, which is nice for anyone that's wanting to test out the product. The other nice part is that the product has a pretty low implementation timeline. So customers can have a completely out-of-the-box product implemented in about 1 month, or they can take the time to build out their specific parameters and have that up and running in about 2 to 3 months, which I thought was a pretty quick turnaround time for something like this. All right, and as I mentioned, F&F does have a relationship with this company as a vetted solution partner. They share our values in helping our agents to adopt AI in a responsible and secure environment so that they can bring themselves to the forefront of technology. If you're interested in learning more about Stacks that's powered by Avon's Tech Labs, you can use the QR code on your screen to request a demo from them today.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Stacks looks really cool. So going back to a little bit of a CX spin on AI, I want to talk about Smith.ai. Shout out to my buddy Mark for exposing me to this product relatively recently. Really appreciate it. One of the things that's always kind of interesting when you're running a title agency is you're always trying to find those ways to be different, right? And kind of differentiate yourself in the marketplace. So one of the things that I used to say was even if our doors are closed, we're always available. What that actually meant is that everybody in the market had my cell phone number and I had access to production software and whatever, and they would be texting or calling me on Thanksgiving, which I feel like they did just to test me, just to see if I would reply, and I would absolutely get back to them. But one of the things that was important about that is they knew in our marketplace that they could always get a hold of somebody even when our doors were closed. Well, in today's world, the AI tools that are available to make that happen without having to put the burden on somebody like me to answer those phone calls and text messages on Christmas or on the weekends or after hours is really robust and kind of exciting. Our clients want us to be available when they have a question. We talked about before, oftentimes, with our realtor clients, for example, or buyers and sellers, they're working when we're not open anymore. And so being accessible 24 hours a day, 7 days a week has never been more important. There's a lot of data that shows based on what's happened in the market recently, there's a lot of for sale by owners and people that are trying to save a little bit of money, which, for our realtor clients, the stats say if you use a real estate agent, you'll sell your home faster and for more money, but there's still a lot of people trying to do it themselves and they're reaching out directly to us. So I think that's important to recognize. And think of a traditional voicemail process, right? We close our doors 5 o'clock on Friday. The office would sit there. We'd have a voicemail set up. And typically speaking, Monday morning, we're coming in at 7:30, 8 o'clock, checking our voicemails, having to write an email to whoever it was pertinent to and send them the information. It's not a very streamlined techie process. Even though it's digital now, it's pretty much the same as those little micro cassette recorder answering machines that we had from back in the day. I think instantly to George Costanza on Seinfeld with his voicemail message, right? It really hasn't changed all that much. But think about the way the opportunities for that now. And one thing that I think is really important, there's been several studies about wire fraud. We know on weekends, especially holiday weekends, 3-day weekends, that is a time leading up to that where these fraudsters try to create these moments of friction and try to really create opportunities for wire fraud. Imagine being able to catch that. If maybe not everybody's checking their email, maybe they're not texting clients and customers, maybe somebody's calling the office. We tell them, hey, if you ever get a change of wiring instructions or a purported change of wiring instructions, call us at a known number. Well, what if they call us at a known number and it's 5:30 on a Friday of a 3-day weekend, right? Like that's not really going to help in that moment. So picture this as a way to be able to kind of intervene and create an actual stopgap in a personal way. In addition to our friends at some of the companies that we work with, like Certified and Closing Lock and all this stuff, imagine another piece of technology in place to help with that. And then two, just by being available, like I talked about on the previous slide, you're creating a better customer experience right off the bat. Them knowing that they can get a hold of you every time. I haven't been a parent. Casey and I were just talking about some fun parenting things right before this call started. But I can imagine as a parent, with my nephew, for example, having a friend or a pediatrician that you knew was available all the time is a big deal. That is a much better customer experience than having one that you can hardly get a hold of if it's the weekend or after hours. So think of that feeling if you're a parent or if you have a vet that's available all the time, in my case or whatever. It creates a better customer experience just knowing that that person is available when you need them. So therein lies the opportunity of Smith AI. So the cool thing about Smith AI is it's a little bit of a collaboration between humans and between robots. And so there is a human intelligence piece. It is AI powered, but it is backed up by humans. So if there's something that the AI bot is unable to handle, it can automatically be routed to a human, and you can also select which you'd like to use. But the AI one is really cool because it's been trained on millions of calls in 7 or 8 different industries, including real estate services, real estate or attorney spaces, law firms, and in our space as well. So it's really cool, and it's become familiarized with what the tasks are that it's going to be asked to complete. So picture this, right? Here's 3 simple use cases. A temporary receptionist. People being able to take their lunch break again. At my former office, the receptionist went to lunch. What did that mean? Somebody came from the back of the office and sat at the receptionist desk and covered them for that 30 minutes to an hour. This could eliminate that need. We talked about after hours. Being available after hours is a big deal because our clients and customers have questions when maybe we're not open. And then overflow answering. Hopefully we get back to that point where our phones are ringing off the hook. We can barely keep up with what's going on. When that happens, just sending someone directly a voicemail isn't a great feeling when it's during business hours, especially. So this can be your backup to answer the phone when your staff is currently tied up, which I think is kind of a cool feature. Another thing that I think is really neat about Smith.ai is that it's bilingual automatically, right? So not only is there human, but there's also AI-driven bilingual conversational use cases for this, which I think is really cool. Right off the bat, it recognizes that the person is speaking Spanish. I believe the AI version, don't hold me to this, but I believe the AI version has multiple other languages, and I know they're definitely working on that, which is really cool. Automatically recognize it, automatically starts communicating to that person in the language with which they're most comfortable communicating. One thing that's also kind of neat about it, it records the calls and it transcribes those and delivers those to whoever it is that you determine you would like to be that point of contact. Again, it's 24 hours a day. And another thing, if you're anything like me, the amount of spam calls we would get at our office was out of control and it was getting worse. This product, as just a secondary piece of it, but really valuable in my mind, starts to identify those spam calls and begins blocking those calls for you automatically. Of course, you can go in and check them and release some if it were to get anything wrong. But to me, just that one feature is really kind of cool because it's recognized where these calls are coming from and is able to block these robocallers to give some time back to your staff, which I think is really neat. So one of the things that I think is really cool, we talked about the traditional voicemail service. You end up kind of transcribing it, sending an email, your receptionist does to whoever that person, the pertinent contact was. This actually sends an email of a breakdown of it and can send follow-ups for you if you'd like to that designated person. Obviously, everything is customizable. When I was stress testing this a little bit for a real estate attorney buddy of mine in the Massachusetts market, I was calling and running it, taking it through its paces and asking different questions. It was really neat. Not only did it ask me things that were pertinent, if there was a specific attorney I wanted to talk to, what the topic was I wanted to question. Was I looking to talk about trust? Was I looking for a family attorney? Was it real estate? Was it title? What was it? But it also gave me the option on how I wanted to be communicated with. It said, okay, Mr. Trimble, would you like them to call you, text you, or email you back? It gave me the option. Maybe I don't want to call back. Maybe it'd be easier for this to just for someone to text me back or to send me an email, or maybe I do want to talk to them. But it just gave me an option, which is a different customer experience. We're used to being put in a box. We tell people how we're going to communicate with them. We do not ask them how they would like to be communicated with. And Smith.ai actually asks them their communication preferences. And this last part is really kind of cool because when the person is ready, and this is a little bit different verbiage here for a different use case, but if the person needs to speak to the person, it will actually warm transfer the phone call. So it will automatically connect you. You can set the hours that you would allow it to do that. But if the need is to talk to an actual human, it will make a warm transfer directly to you when needed, which I think is kind of cool. One thing that we talk about a lot in today's world is data. And so the data on the back end of this to me is really cool because you're able to keep an eye on who are the people that are calling you? How often are they calling you? What is the sentiment? Are they existing clients and customers? Is it someone you've never worked with before? So maybe you need to add a little extra layer of awesome customer experience to wow them and turn them into a loyal client. And there's a cool review here from Christine Schaefer with the Legacy Law Firm saying she's grateful how much it's done to make her life easier. They assist with scheduling, follow-up, and providing a great customer experience. And that's a great attorney that's using this product right now, which I think is really, really cool. So like I said about the analytics, one of the really powerful things in today's world is being able to actually figure out some real data touch points for our business so that we can focus on the clients and customers that matter most. So what is the type of caller that is calling? What is the type of conversation? There is a sentiment gauge. Is there a particular topic where you're getting calls and people seem to be very upset? It can give you insight into all of those things, all the meanwhile giving you a complete summary of the voicemail or of the conversation rather, and giving you action items to move forward with a complete transcript. Again, when it comes to covering ourselves and providing great experience, especially on long weekends, stuff like this can be really valuable to make sure you're staying ahead of some of those wire fraud threats. So, of course, pricing is always something that we're interested in. So it starts with 30 calls, which is about $285 a month. That doesn't seem like a ton of calls to me, but when you start thinking about when it's answering, how much is spam, how many people even stay on the phone with them, I think this starter pack could be pretty cool. And it goes all the way up to enterprise solutions and the 300 calls a month, which would basically be a full-time receptionist for many businesses, is about $2,000. But again, it's operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, multiple languages, doesn't take breaks. And if nothing else, I think this little starter pack at 30 would be a great way to cover our staff during lunch hours and maybe take a little bit of the concern of long weekends off of our back. So that is smith.ai. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about it, you can simply just go to smith.ai.com. They have a wonderful team there. The real estate attorney that I'm talking about, Mark, in Massachusetts, has worked really deeply with them in tailoring it to their specific needs. So absolutely reach out to them through smith.ai, get a quick demo, and let them know we sent you.
All right. So the last AI tool that we're going to specifically highlight today is called Guide. Some of you may have read about this tool in one of the recent AI tool reports, but Guide is a tool that focuses on making the process for creating employee training programs and content easier. Go to the next slide, please. So as a former title agent, I understand that onboarding and cross-training are never easy. Software changes, system updates, people are very, resistant to change. So training is something that every agency faces challenges with at some point, and especially balancing your day-to-day work while dedicating the time to train someone to succeed in our roles can prove to be very difficult. And we believe that this tool can help in making those processes easier than ever before. So what is it? So Guide creates AI-generated video guides in seconds based on screen captures. It has a free and easy to install browser extension that lets you capture each step of that process with ease. So basically, once this extension is installed on your default browser, you simply initiate the capture function, which you can kind of see here up in that graphic on the top right-hand corner of your screen. You initiate the capture function, you're going to perform the task that you want to create a guide for. And then once you're done, you're going to click stop capture. And in seconds, the guide tool opens a new browser and starts to create a customizable video with step-by-step directions for you. The video is easy to edit and it can be customized with your personal brand kit, including colors, logo, cover and ending slides, and more. Once you're happy with the video, you are free to share the video in a number of ways, including downloading the MP4 file to house your guides on whatever training platform that you use for your in-house. So there's also a desktop application that is a feature that can be added as an additional charge so that a user can capture step-by-step tutorials on any other desktop application. So if you're using a software that is specifically not a web-based browser one, you can also have that feature as well. So on the next screen, I have a video for you to see exactly how easy it is to create a video using this platform. So if you go to that. So in this video, I am using my demo Qualia environment, which is a web-based browser software. So I was able to capture how to add your FNF credentials to the platform so that you can order title searches through TitleWave and produce CPLs and jackets inside the system. So you can see that it automatically starts to highlight each step, and then you can customize the entire video, including the background. If you want to add a voiceover, they have voiceover options, or you can record your own. You can edit what it says, what it highlights, and even the text that you're going to see on the screen there. So if anything is captured unnecessarily during that step-by-step process, you can easily delete those frames so that the video is exactly how you want it. Guide also has the ability to translate the video into other languages, which is pretty cool. If you have, an employee coming in that is, maybe English is not their first language, or something like that, you can easily translate those into other languages, which makes it easier for them to understand and perform those tasks. So we think that this tool could be super beneficial for title agents to create easy tutorials on a variety of things, including how to open an order, creating policy jackets, or even just performing other simple tasks inside of their software platforms. And then another area that we think it could be really beneficial is employee onboarding. So items, such as how to access their payroll system, where to find their benefits and 401k information, and all of that type of, onboarding tutorials, just to be a little bit made easier for you rather than having to, guide someone through that step-by-step in person. The possibilities really are endless, and this tool just makes it really easy to create these videos in no time. Next screen. All right, so this screen is showing you their pricing breakdowns. They do have a free version that I mentioned that you can play around with and get started with. And it includes up to 25 how-to videos. They also have paid versions, which can provide a little bit more content and customization, as well as enhanced editing features. If I would always recommend trying out the free version, seeing how you would use it and, what's involved, and then you can always upgrade to those. But, speaking, towards those paid plans, they are pretty low in cost, especially if you're using it to build out an entire training and onboarding platform. I know this is something that a lot of agencies struggle with. Training new employees can always be something that is difficult to do. So being able to kind of spend the time and to create this content to make it easier for you guys going forward on, onboarding and training those employees with, as little help from, man-to-man as possible, I think could be really beneficial. All right, and as with the other tools presented today, there is a QR code on screen which will allow you to download the free extension and start using this tool for yourselves. They also have a team that can do demos or answer questions for anyone that's interested in utilizing the tool. And if anybody has questions on this, I'm also happy to answer what I can as well.
Awesome.
Yes.
So many great use cases that you mentioned, Casey. I mean, what a time and create a better onboarding experience and things like that. Even just that. And I saw in the free version you can do several of them, and so that may be one, like go in, do a couple onboarding videos and see how you like it.
Absolutely.
Very cool tool. Thanks so much for sharing that with us today, Guide. So I started thinking a little bit based on those first statistics. It says that 90% of title agents are dabbling in AI, whether they know it or not. I found a cool quiz from Grammarly. Grammarly, by the way, if you're not familiar with it, incredible AI writing tool to help you really enhance your writing skills. There's some cool plugins where you can connect it directly to Microsoft or Gmail or whatever the email service that you're using and rewrite emails, ask it to change tone, become more persuasive, set an end date on a project in a more meaningful way, things like that. So Grammarly, really cool tool. But this quiz right here, if you scan this QR code, it will take you to a quick 2 or 3 minute quiz to kind of lay a foundation on where you are when it comes to figuring out ways to implement AI in your business. So if it was me, I'd probably scan this, take a quick quiz, but also maybe send this to a few people in your organization. Just say, hey, we're thinking about dabbling in AI just a little bit more. We wanted to get a baseline on where we are today, what you think of it, where you think the opportunities are, and how likely we are to start using some of these tools. So I thought that quiz was kind of cool. And again, if you missed any of these QR codes or anything, you will absolutely get a recording of this a little bit later today once we're done, so fear not. The other thing that we wanted to do today was give you a couple bonus tools. We mentioned how those 4 rows and 4 columns just didn't seem like it was enough. And so every session, we're going to start throwing a couple bonus tools at you. The first 2 I want to chat through before Casey talks about Qualia AI and Pythonic is Microsoft Copilot. If you're on Microsoft, it's automatically, for the most part, embedded into your product. Some of them don't come with it, but for the most part, it's there. You just may have to update. Think of Clippy from back in the day, right? So Clippy was that little paper clip in the bottom corner that you could ask questions. That was an early version of an AI assistant. Copilot is Clippy on steroids, although I wish they had kind of kept the Clippy branding. I thought that was really cool. But one of the, a couple quick use cases for me. One of my favorite things to be able to do is oftentimes, as many of you know, I'm on the road, I'm at an event, I'm hanging out with some incredible clients. We all know that feeling when we're at an event and we get back to the office or we get back on our phone and we see that there's a chain of like 45 emails on one particular file or one particular topic. And so we end up scrolling down to the bottom and reading our way all up to the top. My favorite use case of Copilot is being able to simply ask it, hey, take this thread, summarize it for me, and tell me everything I need to know about this conversation. And it takes those 45 emails and within a matter of 2 or 3 seconds gives me a complete summation of what was discussed and what my tasks might be moving forward and what to expect from that, saving me several minutes right there. So that to me is just one of my favorite things. You can also literally take emails or a Word doc and automatically turn it into a PowerPoint and vice versa. So there's a lot of really cool things. Ariel is another one that does some similar things to things that we've discussed in the past and that we will in the future. But Ariel is kind of geared towards being a lender product, But I always feel like as a title agent, if I can expose my clients, realtors, lenders, whoever, to cool technology, it's always beneficial to me. And this is one that's beneficial to me as a title agent in more ways than one. Ariel is an auto balancing tool, a CD auto balancing tool using generative AI. So the goal here, they did a bunch of research before they launched their product, and they said that the typical back and forth on a closing disclosure for those of us that are settlement agents is 4 times. So we go back and forth with the lender 4 times, and each one of those iterations of balancing that CD takes approximately 40 minutes. Their goal is to take that 4 times down to 2 or 3 max and take that 40 minutes and turn it into 4 to 5 minutes. So when you talk about saving time, if you've ever gone back and forth on a CD that just seems like it's the CD that will never end, a tool like this that can help you auto balance so that you're streamlining that conversation, saving a bunch of time, is a really powerful thing, and that is Ariel. And again, like any other product that we're talking about today, many of these are vetted and verified by FNF, and they're a part of our vendor services programs and things like that. But some of them are just things that we wanted to share with you. And so Ariel is one of those that I just thought you should know about, and it's pretty cool. Casey, what about Qualia AI and Pythonic?
Yeah, so Qualia AI, especially for those of you that are already on Qualia as your title production software system and you're looking to dip your toes into AI, they currently have 3 AI tools up and running within their software. The first being they have an open an order function. So basically you upload the agreement of sale, and any data that is included on that document is extracted into the production software to begin the transaction. So it kind of eliminates that, mundane task of manually entering the information, retyping the buyer's name, the property address, all that pertinent information just to open a file, just so that you can then go ahead and order your title search. It kind of creates that out of it, and just in seconds, you upload that document and it extracts that data. So that's a really cool feature that I highly recommend if you're on that platform utilizing that. Obviously with the caveat of making sure that we're cross-referencing and checking that information to make sure it's capturing that accurately. The next one though is the Qualia AI data importer. So this helps Qualia Connect users by updating orders directly from the Connect messages. So it's basically using the natural language processing to understand the context of those messages, and then it uses the AI data importer to analyze them and suggest where that information needs to be imported into the system, which I thought was pretty cool. So, if you're getting buyer information or you're, corresponding via that Connect feature, it's automatically pulling that data and dropping it back into your software system. So, if the buyer wants their, their name or their initial or something like that, or if the sale price or loan amount changes and all of that is communicated via that Connect feature, it can automatically update that in that platform. And then finally, they have the Qualia AI messaging assistant, which drafts informative, personalized updates for the title agent in seconds. It leverages contextual information from within the software system, and the AI messaging assistant generates accurate and tailored communications so that the title and escrow professionals can quickly answer emails and questions and provide those updates that meet the client service expectations. So, again, kind of utilizing that AI to read what's going on in the file and answer questions systematically, and again, freeing up your title agent's time that they would normally spend answering that information by having to stop what they're doing, go into the system, figure out what's going on, and then respond to that email. So that's Qualia AI. And then the last tool is Pythonic. So Pythonic is actually very similar to the Stacks feature that we talked about a little bit earlier in this presentation. So Pythonic's title and escrow solution automates conventional document processing tasks. So from opening orders to working through lender CDs, they have a suite of products that quickly puts their precision first AI to work for your organization. So that's another really great tool that I would recommend looking into if you're looking to kind of automate that document processing, collaborating on that CD like Ariel and Stacks. It's one of those tools that is really easy to kind of put into your workflow and kind of free up some time on your title agent's, workflow.
Awesome. So we mentioned before that the AI empowered title agent website is now officially live. So here is your password, FNF Strategic Growth. If you scan this QR code, scroll right to the bottom and you click AI empowered title agent, it will take you directly to that site. By the way, we used some AI tools on Canva to actually build that website, just to show you guys that there's lots of implementations for AI in our business. But again, the password is FNF Strategic Growth. Scan this QR, go straight down to the bottom, and right there's a link for the AI empowered title agent. Thank you guys so much for hanging out today. We really, really appreciate it. Again, if you were here, you will absolutely get a replay of this. All of these little quick once-overs and of all of the tools will be available on the AIempoweredTitleAgent.com. So stay tuned for that, as well as use cases, product reviews, different people within our industry that are using these tools right away. That said, mark your calendar for January 16th. We'll start the second half of this series, Season 1, Episode 3, January 16th, 11 o'clock Eastern. We would love for you to be there. Thanks for the incredible feedback you've been giving us so far. If you have any things that you've seen in the market that you're excited about and you'd like to share with your colleagues around the Northeast, we would love to have you reach out to us and let us know too, because we're always looking for the latest and greatest. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us a little bit today. Keep an eye out for your follow-up. We deeply appreciate you being supportive of the FNF family of companies. It is an honor and privilege for us to do business with each and every one of you. And if it weren't for the business that you were throwing our way, there's no way we'd be able to create seminars like this and really delve into some of these products, hopefully giving you guys some tools to make 2025 one of our best years yet. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Casey, thanks so much for everything. Thanks for being alongside me. You certainly opened my eyes to a lot of things, and I'm sure everyone on this phone call. We will see you all soon. We're all in this together. Be kind to one another. The future is really bright, and we'll see you there. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.